got a sweet tooth when it come to you. I know better, but I want it anyway. Hear a little voice in my head say, do better. So many options, I can't stop it. Feelings, I want all of them. Little voice in my head say, I want it, rock it, I love it, strawberry, pistachio. Baby, when the cookies scream for me, I scream. I give it every time. You taste so good to me. Your love is everything, but you're no good, you see. I can get on without you. When I think about the things you do, now it's all over you. Didn't know you no good. I wish I could shake brings all the boys to the yard. I know you miss it cause it went so hard. Pineapples, whipped cream, I know you miss me. Baby, you melt on my lips. Won't you come and give me a kiss? Drippin', drippin', all over me. Come and get it.
Tatiana dope, man. We played on her album. She let us, my band play on her album, the last album.
Ready?
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready. Hit it.
Okay.
What is my Derrick, tell me.
I want this in that.
I'm recording.
I want that in. So we already jumping into it, man. I want to welcome everybody to episode of Musicians and Sneakers. I am your host, Patrick Favors. My man, Matt, 19 Productions behind the cameraman. I want to introduce an artist, man, that I'm really fond of. Anytime I bring artists on the show, it's somebody I listen to, somebody I love the work ethic. And this young lady, man, is dope. And I see Grammys on Grammys in the future.
Come on.
And she's fun, as you can see. Ladies and gentlemen, Dana Harper.
What's going on?
Yeah. So
the applause, y'all gonna put applause in there later?
Yeah, we're gonna double up your applause that you just did. No, man, I want to thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you so much. I'm gonna say it again. I want to thank you for coming to the show. I appreciate you so much. What you do for the music industry in Dallas, man, and you are super dope.
Thank you.
So I want to start out like we always start out. First, by asking you, how's your day? How you doing?
You want me to answer right now?
You can answer right now.
My day is beautiful.
Yeah.
I actually just texted somebody. They asked me how I was doing, and I said, life right now is perfectly beautiful and ugly at the same time. Mercury is in retrograde, so that has a lot to do with it. But, life can be really great, and you can still be going through some weird shit at the same time.
That's funny because I always tell my wife, don't get mad at me, but it's the truth. When people say, what is marriage like? I say it's beautiful and ugly. You see the beautiful side of the person, but you're going to see the ugly side of yourself and the person you're involved with. So that's awesome.
I was married, so I know all about that.
Yeah, this is my second marriage.
See?
I could say something publicly to my first wife, but I ain't going to say
Oh, no. I want no parts. I want no parts. I do not want to be involved.
First, I want to talk about the evolution of Dana Harper. Kind of like where you figured out you could sing, or you probably sung as a baby. Where did it start?
Yeah. So my nickname is Tweet. My family calls me Tweet or Tweety Bird. Because I'm yellow and I had a big head when I was a baby. So that's where it started. And I don't think that they knew, obviously, when I was born, that this would be who I would become. But still now, my family calls me Bird. My mom calls me Bird. When I would wake up in the morning and the birds would be chirping in the morning, my mom would be like, they're calling you, tweet, 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 tweet.
Your family?
Yeah, my family outside, the birds. So, from a young age, I've always been very performative and real extra, I guess.
Get in trouble for singing all the time?
I didn't get in trouble. My mom would probably say that I got in trouble just for being loud. I'm loud. So if I'm singing, even now, I will bust out in the house and start belting. And it's like, yo, come on, it's a little much. But I've been singing since I was probably 4 or 5 when I remember I first started, to sing and take a liking and to music and starting to like feel something, have an emotional connection to it, right? Since I was young.
Yeah. Did you grow up here?
I did. I grew up in North Dallas.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to a small, very, very small private Christian school called American Heritage Academy.
Okay.
Very interesting experience,
right?
I'll say. I graduated with like 20-something kids in my whole senior class. Yeah, so as far as like my musical training or background, I was in choir. I was in choir from like 9 until I graduated high school. Classically trained. So I was in choir at church a little bit, but I was in like the, choral,
right,
that whole thing. So high school I did all state and all of that. Yeah, so I've been training my whole life.
So I was gonna say this question to last, but I want to ask it now because it kind of talks about family.
Yeah.
So the obvious thing in the room, your last name is Harper. You're the daughter of I'm from Dallas, so
yes.
so the legend Derrick Harper.
Dad is my
That's
father.
your dad. So we talked about family.
Yeah.
And where you're from. Mm-hmm. What was it like? Did you travel? And what was it like being a celebrity dad? Like, was he regular to you, or was he?
Yeah, he's still regular to me. We did travel a lot. So he played for different teams. So I've lived in Dallas as a child. I lived in Dallas. I lived in Connecticut and New York when he played for the Knicks. Lived in Orlando, and when he played in LA, we kind of bounced back and forth. We didn't ever really settle there. So that also had a lot to do with my music and my singing, because that was something that I could do anywhere. Kind of going, always having to go to new schools and make new friends and doing all this. And I was like, well, at least I know I can do something in the arts or creative or sing or join the choir, and I'll find kind of my tribe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
your friends, was it a big deal for your friends? Or was it just regular?
I don't think so. I don't remember. If it was, I don't really remember. But yeah, he was really regular to me. He wasn't. My dad is very low key. He's not really like a flashy, wanna be in the limelight type of guy. So he was always really low key, and I think that's probably why it never was some big dramatic thing.
Like what's going on in the NBA right now. Kneel long.
You see, I don't know. I was like, wait, what's going on? Exactly. Yeah, no, nothing like that.
So I guess that was our current event, because sometimes we talk about current events, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Don't even. I have a whole thing about that too. So we can talk about that later. We can talk about that later.
What artists inspire you growing up? Not now, but growing up. Like, what did you listen to then? And then after that, what about right now?
Okay. Whitney Houston,
yeah,
obviously. I can remember being about 5 and 6 years old. We were living in Connecticut, and Toni Braxton, and Anita Baker, and Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson and Mariah Carey. Those were like, that was the music that like shaped me.
Top dog.
Yeah, and that was who I was listening to. That's what my parents were listening to. Boyz II Men, like that. Those are really that's the music that I grew up listening to. And even now, still in my music, you can hear that kind of 90s soul, pop, R&B. That's kind of still my same vibe even now. But Toni Braxton, for the obvious, I'm talking, and you can hear the depth of the deepness of my voice. So Toni was always someone that I felt comfortable being able to sing. I love Mariah Carey songs, but I couldn't sing Mariah Carey songs even when I was a little girl because of the range.
The range,
So definitely Toni and Anita Baker, my little sister who's sitting, or my younger sister who's sitting back here, she used to love Anita Baker as a young girl too. So those are some of the the ones who shaped me.
So you point out little sis. Think of not right now, but think about the artist right now. But I want to ask little sister a question because she grew up with you. I want to ask, first of all, put your podcast out there.
Oh my goodness, my podcast is called The Art of It All. My name is Dana Harper. Hello. I also have a podcast called The Art of It All.
Okay.
Highlight different visual artists and vocalists and performing artists too. Black and brown artists that I'm really
So we'll put it up there. So since the family member is actually in the room, because sometimes kids and sisters lie. I want to know okay, because I had a brother and a sister, and I know I got on my sister's nerves. Were there times where she was nerve-wracking with the singing or the art, or did y'all always y'all always vibe together?
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Honestly, there really were not times that she got on my nerves. I'm the younger sister, so
you probably got on her nerves.
So many of her interests also then shaped my interests. Because being the youngest in the family, I was always, looking and curious about what everybody else had going on and wanted to kind of be in the know and in the mix. And so a lot of different influences and things that kind of come up for her, I was like, okay, cool, what is Dana doing? Like,
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, so we have a lot of similarities as it comes, even now as it comes to our interests in music.
But give me something you learned from her. I'm saying this because I'm a big brother, and my brother wouldn't say this publicly, but he stole my whole swag. When I left and went to the army, my little brother, he was one of those people who wouldn't tell you he wanted to be like you.
Okay.
So when I left and went to the army, he had all my clothes on when I came.
Quiet as kept. I want to be like her.
Really?
I be stealing her swag. Dead ass. No.
Give me something you learned from your big sister.
Oh man.
I know.
Don't make me cry.
So many lessons. I would say that this is something that I can probably point to a specific instance, but I also just think maybe even if it wasn't verbally said in such a specific way, but just through action, through the way that she exists.
That's the biggest way.
World, is really being unafraid to take up space, to assert your voice, and to stand up for yourself, but also to be proud about it and just be, to have fun and really relish in that energy of showing up as your true self unapologetically.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and whatever that path is. I mean, we do different things now. We work in similar industries, all that stuff. But I think definitely the way that I see her move through the world, like I said, even if it's not in one specific time, that's just always that pushes me.
That's beautiful. I appreciate. I wanted you to hear that on purpose. And if you cry, we're not gonna take it off the show. We're gonna leave it on the show.
I'm not gonna cry.
We'll put your information on the screen. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting your sister. Thank you. So back to that question before you cry.
Okay.
The artists now, who are you looking at? And you just follow. And who would you love to be on stage with?
Ooh. Yesterday I said I want to work with Miguel.
Okay.
I've been listening to, and for my whole life pretty much, Beyonce, obviously. Renaissance dropped recently, so that has kind of been the only thing that I've been listening to for the past few weeks. Right. I really love Tim's. I think that Tim's is super dope. Man,
probably too many in the name.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm in a very particular space right now because I am working on my EP. Okay. So when I am working and recording music, I try to not be too influenced by what I'm listening to.
That makes sense. Yeah. I do that as a musician.
You know what I mean? In order to not be like, dang, this is so tight, and then I go and make a dance record because I've been listening to Beyonce. So I try to keep it spread and have a variety. I've been listening to Donald Fagen a lot recently, and Steely Dan. My music spectrum is from all here to here. Yeah, and I went to college for musical theater, so I'm also a huge musical theater geek. I will be in the car and turn on a Broadway show.
Me too.
You know
yeah,
what
so
I mean?
My
Like,
background is orchestra.
Oh, okay. So you get it.
First instrument I ever touched was upright in
Me too.
violin. So, oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
brought the bass.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
mean,
know
I
that.
don't play anymore, but yeah, when I was in the
But see,
sixth
the
grade.
violin is still the same strings, EADG,
Yeah.
as the bass. So
Yeah.
it's still that's 4 strings, but
Yeah.
it's still the same thing.
As artists and creatives, I think a lot of times we get, I'm bunny trail, but I'm gonna bring it back.
Go ahead.
I think we get like hard on ourselves, right? And we're on social media all the time, and there's so much fast success, or what we think is fast success, not knowing that a lot of these people have been working for years on one song or on one project or one idea. And we have TikTok and Instagram and all of these things that make it seem like, you know, somebody just sets up a camera and they do, you know, whatever they do, and then they're famous and they're making millions of dollars, and that's really not ever how it goes. Maybe now, but you know, that's not really how it goes. So I beat myself up sometimes, like, you should have done this by now, you should have already put out a project, you should have already, you know, all of these things that we write down what we're going to be doing at this age and this age. But if I would have put the song out in 2014, it wasn't gonna be this song. You know what I mean? It wasn't gonna be, you know, it's tight as hell. Like, the music is beautiful, and I'm so happy and so proud, and like, yes, you know what I mean?
I feel like it's funny because I kind of know the behind the scenes, so that's why that's why I'm laughing at it.
Yeah, and it's a whole, you know, it's a whole, like, there's a whole lot of living that has to be done. And now I sing the song different than I did back then, because I had not experienced what I've experienced, you know, since first recording that song. At first it was just a song, and especially when you're singing someone else's words, even if you can relate to it, when you're singing someone else's words and you haven't experienced it, sometimes that will be conveyed when you're singing it. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, it sounds good, but there's really no feeling there. You know what I'm saying? Now when I sing that song, it's like, whew, you know, every time I sing it like it's, you know, the first time. So so the project is really amazing. I'm really excited, but I'm proud of myself for taking the time, even though, you know, I felt like I should have done more or whatever. I'm proud of myself for what it has turned into. And the other songs on the project, on Daydreaming, after Daydreaming, kind of organically turned into this whole little like love story. So the EP is a love story. There's Daydreaming, there's La Luna, there's Champagne and Plantains, there's Good Night and Good Morning. So there's it's like a little vignette, a little tiny love story.
Can I put you on the spot? You can say no.
Yes, okay.
Can we get a little bit of Daydreaming?
Of Daydreaming. Oh, I don't know why I let you wreck my brain when you don't even know where you wanna be. At times I feel as if I'm wasting time, giving my life to you when you're always on my mind. I don't wanna feel like I'm crazy. That's backgrounds. And I don't wanna feel like a burden to you. I don't know how to feel. I'm just waiting. Hey, daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. Don't know why you wanna make me a boo.
That's crazy,
That's
man.
it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Every time you sing, like, and I do this with Jasmine Sullivan, so every time you sing and then you hit that low register, something goes, something happens on the inside. Man. Oh man, I appreciate that. That was good.
Thank you.
That was good live.
I have a lot of alternate titles to my songs. The alternate title to this song is the Fuckboy song. So, a little contradicting. Daydreaming or the Fuckboy song. Because sometimes we daydream about fuckboys and we need to stop doing that. Or fuck girls. There's some fuck girls out there too. Fuck people.
still in my brain. When you don't even know where you wanna be. At times I feel as if I'm wasting time, giving my life to you, yeah. When you're always on my mind, and I don't wanna feel like I'm crazy. And I don't wanna feel like a burden to you. I don't know how to feel. I'm just waiting. Hey, daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. Don't know why you won't make me a boo. And I'm so tired of waiting for your love. I'm so tired of wanting you to know that it's me. I'm so tired of waiting for your love. Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. Don't know why you won't make me a boo. Hey, baby.
That was dope.
Thank you.
I think you're the first person to sing. Shoes did a freestyle.
That's
Crazy freestyle.
That's dope.
And he put musicians and sneakers in it. Oh,
Woo, that's dope.
and it would even, we never
Mic
asked
check,
him
1,
to do
2.
it.
He
Like,
just-
I'll do a freestyle.
Yeah, he came to that's dope.
Yeah, we're good.
Should we say?
Okay.
One of the questions I wanted to ask you, and thank you for singing for us. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Is, are you independent? Are you signed to a label?
Not at all.
Do you
I am
prefer-
very independent, so much that it hurts. No, I'm kidding, but it's a beautiful thing. I am independent. It would have to make sense at this point to sign to a label. Outside
but
of-
see what's
Talk about
crazy.
why you're independent, like you had a very strong reaction.
Well, shit, because it's difficult to be independent.
Yeah. So I was gonna say,
because I'm doing everything on my own.
It's hard to be independent, but what I was gonna say is the independent artists that hit now, they're not going through that contract
Right.
that's killing them.
Unless you need a label.
No, yeah, and that's
you
what I
don't-
was gonna
yeah,
say.
with social media now, you don't need a label. You got a lot of
No.
artists.
Distribution.
Yeah.
Distribution. Yeah, you don't need it.
Maybe they're money to promote, but
And
with
that
a-
would be
with
that's
a
what I
label,
mean by
you'll
like
get out there
that would be the
faster.
only thing.
Most of the time you get out there faster, but that $1 million they give you,
you ain't get
to-
that money.
You're not
yeah,
getting
you
it.
ain't getting that money.
And they, anytime that somebody's giving you money for something, they gonna feel like
Yeah, they own you.
they own you, or they want to have a say in how
you
it's
have
done.
you have a catalog of 12 songs, and they like, we want these songs out. And you're
Correct.
like, no, this is what I want to put out.
Correct.
This is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So-
So I mean, and I'm just being silly. Like, obviously when you're independent, you're figuring it out. You're
Right.
making it work. And I'm a full-time musician, artist, singer. I do music full time. I don't have a part-time job or any other job in that way, So I am grinding all the time, like constantly
You gonna
trying
get
to
it.
make it.
But
make
you gonna
it
get
pop.
it though.
Yeah,
I use my Dallas voice when I say that. You gonna get it.
You gonna get it.
gonna get it.
My dad always would say, or he not even always would say, like he's not here. He says it every time I talk to him. Stay the course, baby. Stay the course. And I used to be like, what? Okay. Like what does that mean? What is that? And throughout my life, I have seen time and time again what that means when I do stay the course, and some of the things that I have already accomplished come from simply that. You know what I mean? That's just it. Stay the course. Like it means what it means, and I think that I've been really focusing on that, and I have done that, and I am just now. Not even just now. I'm not gonna act like now all of a sudden just because I'm about to release some music now everything that I've ever wanted is happening. I've experienced a lot of like
So I think that's
Good
one of the
moments.
questions. One of the questions we always ask artists is to talk about failures in that, and then talk about stuff that, as far as not opposite of failures, some things you learned, and then some things that you learned that were negative that you'll never go back to. If I put that right,
man. Failures. I can't really say that I've failed a lot.
It's evolving.
Yeah. I think that like lessons, you know what I mean? Like I think
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, like
Give me
what are
some
some lessons that I've learned?
I failed a lot.
Really? Okay. That's fair.
But failing gave me wisdom.
Yeah, that
So
part.
That's
yeah.
why I asked.
Yeah.
So But
What can I be the
Yeah.
Can I spin it on you?
Yeah.
How have you failed? What would you consider to be a failure?
Oh Lord Jesus, let's see. What is a failure?
Wait, are you asking like a complete failure, like where no lesson was learned, or there is a lesson that was learned?
Both.
I would say my first marriage was a failure.
Okay.
And I'm not putting her down. She know I love her. I was in the military. I was 18 years old. I didn't know anything about life and marriage. And we ended up having 2 kids. She ended up leaving me with the 2 kids, so I became a single parent. In that, I said marriage, and I'm going to put the kids in that. None of my kids are grown. I'm learning things I didn't know. So I grew up in projects in Highland Hills, and everything was hit him in the chest, he's got to be tough, or whip him for this, or whip him for that. I feel like I failed in that aspect because now I know I should have just been a consultant with love. You know what I mean? We wasn't taught to love the way we're supposed to love. You know where I come from. So, and I'm from Dallas, but you know where Highland Hills is. Because even when you said you got information about what your dad told you, well, a drug dealer told me keep it pushing. That's what he always told me.
Right.
Because we didn't have daddies in Highland Hills.
Yeah.
So a failure would be I missed a lot in how I raised my kids.
Okay.
Because I was angry at the way my marriage went. You get what I'm saying? And now that they're grown,
and you didn't have the tools to be able to process what
Yeah.
was going on, so that affected
so that
the
would
kids.
be one.
Or
I got
the
and
kids.
I got one more failure because I felt in front of a dope artist.
Okay.
We all know Caleb McCampbell. He
Oh,
probably
yeah.
don't remember this. I played at Oakland Bible Fellowship. You know, I grew up around that area in that church, and I got out of the Army, and I just started playing drums. Most people in Dallas don't know how long I've been playing drums. So one of my good friends, Junior, shout out Junior, who was a drummer at Oakland Bible. He said, I need you to sit in for me in the kids' church. And I laugh at the story because it's funny. And I'm like, okay, I'll sit in. I just learned to play drums. All the songs was Ty Tribbett. So you already know. I'm in the big church, just learning to play drums, doing the pocket. And Caleb was on keys, man. I could just see everybody. Every musician has been that musician when you first start out, and everybody's just like, bruh.
What is this?
So
Yeah.
that was a failure, man.
Okay.
What is?
What would you call it?
Say it again.
Would you call it?
I've said that was one of my
No,
failures.
you said the drumming, whatever the music was.
He was in the pop.
Oh, so Ty Tribbett,
Yeah, what does that mean?
just playing what the music requires, but the basic of what the music requires. In Dallas, we don't do that a lot, which is cool because we got dope musicians. But if you don't know the song, you just play. You play the
you know how
skeleton
to
of
play-
the song,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? But don't do nothing else. But yeah, I tore that up. I messed that up. And then I say Ty Tribbett, because you
No, like all these.
you didn't grow up in the gospel.
Oh, okay. You don't
So
know
Ty
that, yeah.
Tribbett is playing 7s and 3s and 5s and all kind of crazy stuff. And I'm
Crazy.
just learning to play the drums. And I'm just like, he gave me the music. I'm like, oh my God, I'm finna mess this up.
Probably about
So
30
that was a
30-piece
failure, man. I
band.
wanted that back. So I'm gonna get that back one of these
Yeah,
days. But
you sure
that
will.
was a failure. You first person ever asked me a question on my show.
I'm curious. And I asked because I was like, I'm sure I've had some. I just couldn't think of anything. So that helped me to think
Yeah.
of something. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was in New York once with a friend. We were at Blue Note, and it was for a Chris Dave show.
Love Chris.
And we were backstage, chopping it up. Yebba was there. It was just like one of those nights. It was a night, and my friend introduced me to Chris, and he was like, Dana is a dope ass singer, da 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 da. Like, you gotta hear her sing. And Chris was like, oh, dope. You gonna sit in tonight? And I was like, well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we gonna, okay, yeah. And he was like, okay. So they,
It's
they
that
went.
easy. Just like,
but
okay.
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Or I didn't think that I was ready. Looking back now, I realize that person would have never told him that if he didn't think that I was ready to do that. You know what I mean? Not that it mattered what he thought, but if he's telling Chris Dave, like, yo,
It's your time.
you should let her get on the stage and sing at your show at the Blue Note, then that's not something you're gonna do if you don't feel that. But I wasn't. I didn't believe that. I got nervous as hell. I clammed up, and I
What?
went and sat. No, I didn't do it. I literally was like, that was backstage. They hadn't even played the show yet. So then when he started, like, you know, they do the show and he starts kind of calling people up.
Right.
And I see my friend like looking at me and I kind of like ducked away and tucked myself in the back. I didn't see it in myself at that point.
Ooh,
I didn't feel that I was good enough to be on stage with these people. Yebba was in the building. I'm like, there's no way I'm about to get up on stage and sing and Yebba's here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now
What's
I'm like,
crazy?
pass me the mic and watch what I'm gonna do with it. Like type shit. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
That's
but
powerful, man.
Yeah,
because it's funny what we see in ourselves. Because I've said this on the show before. As an artist, I hate to see myself play. I don't watch the church services I play in. I don't watch.
I probably won't watch this.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I told him when he sends me some of the rough draft, I watch a little bit of it, then I turn my
I can't
head.
watch it, yeah.
Because I'm constantly what I didn't do right. And then I remember he talked to me one time and they said they just want to see Patrick, your version of you. And I would encourage you the same thing. I mean, you're more confident now.
Right, absolutely.
But, you know,
yeah.
just they want to see the version of you. That's why I wanted you on the show, because I wanted the authentic you. So that was a great story. What would you tell? Because it's going to be people watching.
Yeah.
And then we always have people coming up under us.
Yeah.
What would you tell another young artist, another female artist, another little girl about that failure with Chris and just having that confidence?
I would say what somebody who I look up to a lot told me is to do it scared.
Okay.
To do it scared.
I never
like,
heard that.
do it even if you get up there and mess up. And because that takes courage, you know, I think creatives are some of the most courageous people in the world, because that takes a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not going to understand that.
There's always going to be somebody that said, well, you did this wrong.
You did this wrong. And most of the time it's going to be yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But if you do it and you do it and you do it and you do it, eventually you're going to be like, oh, that shit was tight. You know what I mean? So I would absolutely say do it scared. I used to have horrible stage fright.
Do it scared, man.
Yeah,
wow.
do it afraid. You know what's going to happen.
Right.
I more and more every day in my life, I'm like, until something happens to me, ain't shit gonna happen. You know what I mean? What's gonna happen if I mess up? And that's the other thing, is I think that people are so afraid to mess up. I think that people are so afraid to flub or to, like, I used to have stage fright because I never wanted my voice to crack. That was always my biggest, like, I just was so afraid of singing and not being able to hit a note and my voice cracking. That was like, that would make me not want to do a performance. So literally, even if you do the weirdest, dumbest, worst thing, like, nobody's gonna take a bite out of you. Somebody might call you out. Somebody might try to bruise your ego or try to knock you down, you know, mentally. But okay, like, take that up with yourself.
I just wanna get away, sit right next to you. Don't wanna kiss you. I just wanna feel you. I want you around. I want you around.
I think I'm gonna give Sissy a chance to ask a question. Yeah, give me maybe a music question. Anything you want to ask, but
Thank you.
Come on, voice.
What do I wanna
Come on,
ask you?
podcast voice.
Right. I'd say, what feeling do you want your music to evoke for listeners? Anyone who's listening to a song or someone who's in an audience witnessing you perform, what do you hope that's like a feeling they might experience?
get some pictures.
You want like behind the scenes?
Yeah.
This is how we do the show, by the way.
I'm here for it. Matt.
Hey.
Yo.
No, they're all like this.
And we leave it in there.
I'm not mad. I am, when I'm listening to music, I am a little bit of a sensationalist. I love to feel good when I'm listening to music, and there are certain songs that first note will give you goosebumps. You know, there's a song that you love so much and you can play it over and over and over again, and it feels like you know, like orgasmic. You know what I mean?
On the way here, I was listening to No Name, and that was doing it for me.
Yeah.
So that gives me that feeling.
Yeah. I want people to feel anything. Because there are some artists and some you know, very talented people. You know, when you go to a show and it's somebody that you've never heard or never seen before, and they're killing, but there is no connection.
Yeah.
And so after you get over the fact that they are like super talented, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna go get a drink.
They were dope.
You know what I mean? I want somebody to hear my music and hear my voice and want to hear it for as long as they possibly can.
That's a good question. That's a good comment.
Thank you.
Before we segue and talk about the sneakers side of it, I asked who did I ask? Math Tracks. He did the show, and I asked him, when you think of the Dallas scene, what comes to mind? Like, what is our style and what is Dallas music to you?
Man, in a league of its own.
True.
I used to sneak into the Profit Bar when I was like 16, 17, and sign up for open mics sometimes, doing it very scared. At that point, I didn't even know that that's what I was doing, but I was very scared and had no business being there. But that definitely shaped me. You know, RC and the greats, and now I host the jam session with RC sometimes, you know, and I never ever would have thought.
You didn't see yourself.
I never saw myself over 10 years later, you know, being up there with RC and Cleon and them, you know, like, and them playing my music, you know what I'm saying? So we're trailblazers, you know what I mean? You can, like we were talking about before, you can go anywhere really in the world and
Dallas music,
and somebody is gonna name at least one person from Dallas, anywhere in the world.
In New York, I told you, and I think I said this on the show, when I went to New York, they were named like, everybody, do you know this dude? Do you know this dude? Do you know this? And even people that ain't mainstream, they knew those guys. And I'm like, dude, so.
Which is also the beauty and the power of social media at this point, right? Like,
but I'm talking about, this was before like social media was crazy. It was right when I'm old. I got out of the Army in 2003, so it was around that time.
Okay.
So in 2003, we still had social media, but it wasn't as strong as
what it is
music
now.
guys. And I went to New York, and everybody was, after I played, everybody was talking about the Dallas drummers. That tell you how long I've been playing. Well, 2003. I think I started in 2003, and that's when that happened with Caleb. And everybody was talking, and then when I went to LA, people knew Dallas, or of course Sput. I think it's still out there.
Right.
And I always ask artists about the Dallas sound and what they think about it, and the pioneers of it.
Yeah. I mean, there, you know, there's like the obvious Erykah Badu and Nora Jones and like all of these, you know, mainstream artists that have, you know, are from Dallas and definitely like have put Dallas on the map in that way. But then there are also, you know, so many others who are, I mean, it's just
and that's the premise of this show, to tell people, you don't have to ask about Dallas musicians anymore. Here they go.
You know,
they're right here in your face. And we got, to me, the dopest musicians in the world, and that didn't
100%.
come from my mouth. It came from people in New York.
You're right.
So
right. I don't. And
shit,
it's coming from my mouth. We absolutely do have the best musicians, some of the best singers, like. And people, I was talking to somebody, I was at a show the other day, and somebody was like, I just moved to Dallas and I just can't find any live music. I was like, what?
Somebody told me that at work.
You're not trying hard.
Yeah, you're not trying at all, because every single night of the week, multiple places from 5 o'clock p.m. to 3 a.m.
Exactly.
You can find the dopest,
and
tightest.
If you in the know, you might be able to go to somebody's house at nighttime after that.
Very much that part.
Or in somebody's studio. We was in I'm finna have a brain for it. Marcus Jones. They got a studio. When they first opened that studio, we were all in there playing all night.
Yep.
So I'm getting Marcus on the show too.
Yeah. That's my brother.
So we'll segue. So we always talk about both sides, music and sneakers. I always correlate sneakers and music together by thinking of Run DMC or by thinking of Shell Toes and stuff like that. My Adidas. How does music and sneakers to you? Because and it's kind of a hard question sometimes.
Yeah.
How does music and sneakers go together?
So when Matt first asked me about being on the show, I was like, yeah, I could do the music part, but I'm not really a sneakerhead like that.
And that's
so
okay. That's okay.
that's what he said. He was like, that's fine. I was like, honestly, if I could have it my way, I would be barefoot all the time, which is the truth. But
we call them Jesus sneakers.
Jesus sneakers. Yeah. The Jesus ones. But so I have a story that'll kind of make sense. So I am 32.
Okay.
I used to love Lil Bow Wow. Like that was my, for obviously when I was like 12, that was my crush. And I mean, Bow Wow had some good music back then, right? So 2012, like Mike came out and he had these forces in the movie, I think. And it came out, we were in Chicago visiting my family. My mom was from Chicago, so we were there for the summer visiting my family. And my brother and sister, my older brother and sister wanted some Air Force Ones. And my mom was like, I'm not about to buy y'all some white shoes, all white shoes. You think I'm about to buy y'all some all white shoes that cost whatever, X amount of dollars? So we went to Chicago and she was like, well, so we went to see like Mike. And she was like, well, we can go to this store I know about and y'all can get those Air Force Ones, which was like the Big T of Chicago.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I can't remember what it was called. But so we spent so she took my sisters and my sister, my brother and I, and we all went and got like these $25 Air Force Ones, bootleg, fake Air Force Ones. But that's kind of like always just a memory that sticks in my head. And if I don't ever have any sneakers in my closet, I will always have
Air Force Ones.
I literally will always have, if nothing else. But that's like my biggest connection. And also I have, style wise, like I am very eclectic. Like I could look like this one day and then the next day I'll have one, a mini skirt and a whatever. Like I'm whatever I want to do is what I'm gonna do. But a lot of times I do opt for like sneakers or more comfortable shoes when I'm performing, as opposed like I'm not a heels type of performer for the most part. If it calls for it, I am. But for the most part, I like to be comfortable. And
so I'm going to be the first person to say this in Dallas. I'm going to ask you a question, then I'm going to say this. If you had a company to sponsor you, who would it be?
Okay.
I'm going to say that. But first, I'm going to say this on this show. We're going to get somebody to be sponsored in Dallas by a sneaker company.
I'm here for it. That's how to say.
I'm going to call that first. Because you don't have any artists other than like people like Yeezy and all that.
Right.
I'm talking about just, how Jordan grabs a basketball player or a football player and say, hey, I want to sign you.
Right.
We're finna start getting musicians signed.
That's how to say.
With sneaker companies.
Yeah.
So I said it first, and we're gonna do it. But if you had if somebody was to call you and say, hey, would you represent our company?
A Converse. I'm also, so I said only Forces, but since I was young, I've always also had a pair of Converse in my closet. I love Converse, any style, any kind of way that they can be. I've always just loved, like, especially the classic, like, black
Chucks.
Yeah, the classic
Converse,
Chucks.
I need y'all to sign.
Yeah.
Sign
Dana,
Dana, write the check.
Yes,
that was dope.
man.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about being barefoot. Like, I kind of want to ask, like, or explore that.
Okay.
Because some people, it's obviously, a lot of people, it's sneakers, and for you, you're like, no shoes. So it's all related to your feet, right? And how you move. So, like, I think we're all of a certain age, you know, or getting there, right? So comfort and style. So you think part of your style is barefoot too?
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely. I put out an album when I was 18, and I had an album release party at the Granada, and I was barefoot at 18 years old.
You were barefoot that time I saw you.
Yeah, at North Node. Yeah, like I feel that's how I feel comfortable, most comfortable. Like I'm already ready to take these sneakers off. Like
Take 'em off.
every time
I can't take mine off because I play football, so I got ugly football people feet.
and I don't have ugly feet. I have very cute feet. But no, I really
So sneakers
do.
and feet. I mean, the musicians and feet. Today's episode,
Getting a
fans,
little weird. Like,
on the episode of musicians and feet.
I've talked a few times about starting an OnlyFans. For feet, a foot OnlyFans.
You get some money off of it.
I know. I've posted it on Instagram a couple times, and you would be surprised at how many responses I get. Like, I post music all the time. You know,
then
I
you
post
post
videos of me
OnlyFans.
singing, and then I'm like, how would y'all feel if I post on OnlyFans? It's like, I'm like, oh my gosh.
You
No,
gotta
but
put bananas in your feet and squish them and stuff.
if that's what'll, I mean,
Get you $1 million.
hey, if the check cashes, is that what they say? If
right.
the check goes through, no.
Then you can just pay for your music career.
But I have tattoos on my feet, so then they would be
If you
recognizable.
want to show your feet, you can show your feet.
Oh no, y'all don't need to see my feet. You can see. I mean,
I was gonna introduce them. I was
next
gonna put
time.
a mic down there. Be like, this is feet.
No, but yeah, I mean, I like sneakers enough. I like sneakers.
You got a dope style though. Every
thank
time
you.
I see
Thank
you,
you.
you're dope.
Thank
my
you. I
style
appreciate it.
my style. I really named my style, and it's really just getting up in the morning, putting on the first thing I see.
There you go.
That's my style.
There you go.
And I said I wanted to look like I'm just picking it up off the floor and just throwing it on.
But it works. When we pulled
It
up,
worked.
my sister saw you. She was like, "That's a tight hat."
Oh,
You know,
she did.
it works.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I paid like $3 from like
A gas station.
Yeah, somewhere.
I have a yellow.
Yeah,
BB
see,
too
no,
that's
so
from
it
a gas
don't-
station. Yeah.
But it's how you make it look. though.
Exactly.
You
That's
can
the other
make
thing.
you can make something that's $3 like $1 million.
That's the other thing, yeah.
Versus-
And I love to thrift. I always have.
Me too.
Yes.
Being a creative, like I love and I love to thrift, and I also like to make things from what I found at the thrift store. So like I had this shirt. It's still one of my favorite shirts, and now I've like nipped it and tucked it and cut it so much I need to throw it away. But I had been wearing it for years, and then I was like, damn, I want to wear that shirt tonight, but I don't need to wear that shirt again. So I cut it up the front and cut it up the back and tied it and turned it into a totally different thing. All night I'm getting compliments on this shirt.
Let me tell you
what I
something.
mean?
You will see me in the same shirt. I wore a shirt one day and wore the same shirt the next day. Just depending on the vibe. I don't care.
It's clothes, man. We
don't
got
care.
this shit, but yeah.
Matter of fact, disclaimer, we talked about this earlier. So we're actually interviewing 2 people today. So you will see
Come on,
this
segue.
outfit. You will see this outfit.
Oh, that was perfect.
Again, in about 10 minutes.
But on the episode, they'll be spaced out.
Yeah,
So they might
season
not
1,
even
season
remember.
2. If you have something to say about it, honestly understand that I don't care.
Right, take it up with
You
yourself.
say something about it, I will be on record for wearing it 3 times, and we'll just have a Guinness Book of World Records on how many times I wore this.
Okay, I'm ready.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Daisha Board for letting us film in this beautiful art gallery, man. We'll get some film and for you on the back end. She is the only African American woman owner of a beautiful place like this. So I think that's worth
In Dallas.
Yeah. I think that's worth giving. Thank you, girl. Giving a shout out. Shout out to our black women that's out there rocking, man, and thank you, Daisha, for this beautiful gallery. The artist is
Jeremy Biggers.
Jeremy Biggers.
The exhibition is Defiant. This is Maddie Michelle, who is also another incredible artist, creative in Dallas, singer, friend of ours. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I think it's really dope that we got to be here and
I need a
got a piece
I think you
just
co-host. You see how she co-hosts like for that little.
Yeah, this piece just sold yesterday.
It did.
yeah, it's just,
And you said how much did it sell for?
I think it's like 35K.
35. I was gonna pull that out of my pocket. And just-
Yeah.
I was just-
that's, I mean, but you can put this on there or not. Daisha has created something so special here.
Oh yeah.
And to be able to bring in artists like Jeremy and to be able to not only bring in artists like Jeremy, but then bring in artists like Maddie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not just Daisha owning the gallery as the first black woman in Dallas to own an art gallery, but then she brings in a black artist who brings in a black artist.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's
So it
putting each other on.
that's what she
Which
you
is
know,
what we
that's-
do
that's
here,
what
which
we're
is what
doing.
we're
It's the
trying to
same
do
thing.
here.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that it's beautiful and very special what you know.
Yeah,
what
I
we're-
actually got a quick story I want to tell about Daisha.
Yeah.
It is one of the first times I met her. we were at Waffle House get something to eat, like at like 2 a.m. or something.
You only go to Waffle House at 2 a.m.
Yeah. And so prior to that, I heard her say that one of her goals is to make art accessible to everybody, right? Not just bougie rich people or just bougie white people or whatever, like everybody. And a lot of people talk, people say things that you hear throughout life. And we were in Waffle House and we were leaving, and she started talking to all the people in the Waffle House, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning about her. I can't remember what the show was at the time. And she was giving them flyers, say, come out to the gallery, check it out. I was like, oh, she for real? Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Like I've never seen that. You know,
that's dope, man.
Yeah.
like they shun people.
Right.
Art galleries, and they're like,
right.
you know, do you have an appointment?
Right.
that's
They're
dope.
at Waffle House. They're not about to come and buy no art.
And we'll definitely.
Yeah, because she's
don't know
always
what's
like, you
going
never know
on.
who's in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't-
And everybody deserves art. Everybody deserves to experience it. Everybody deserves to acquire it, or you know, have a piece of art if it is accessible to them. But everybody deserves to see this. You know what I mean? Especially people at Waffle House at 2 a.m.
Oh yeah. And then we need to have. So when you think art gallery, you think of a place not with black people. You don't think of black person
Untouchable.
owns it.
Right,
Untouchable. Right. Art is untouchable. To know that a young black kid can see this. How many young talented black kids do we have in the hood that can probably paint like this? You know what I mean? And can come to her since she's accessible and say, hey, would you do this for me, or would you present this for me? So no, definitely a big shout out, man, and a big shout out to now my co-host, because you're the first person to ask me a question about me.
You know, trailblazing.
I appreciate you, girl. I love you for
so
what
much.
you do.
Thank you.
And I hope this brings like much blessings and joy.
Thank you.
To the
Likewise.
future. And
Same to you.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you.
You gonna come back and perform for us?
Absolutely. Y'all stay tuned. Can I do my daydream? My name is Dana Harper. No, I'm kidding. I'm just playing. Yeah, daydreaming is coming to a streaming platform near you. My name is Dana Harper.
Is that all platforms, Dana Harper?
All platforms.
Okay.
Anywhere you want to get it. You can get it. D-A-N-A Harper. Dana Harper. D-A-N-A. Yeah. So thank y'all so much.
Thank
I
you,
really
girl.
appreciate
Much
you
love.
having me.
Appreciate
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, sis,
Matt.
for coming out.
Yes.
See you guys
sis.
later. Thank you for
Peace.
coming out.
Hey, Dane. I'm sorry. I don't want you to, you know.
I got your missed calls, but it's too late. If I'm honest, I don't really care about what you say. I keep my feelings down, packed off that do say. I can't go on feeling this way. Right time, think it was the right time to tell you that I'm mine. Even though I miss you, it's too late. Think I took the night off, play the right song, get my shots off. Now I'm going out, and I promise it's not about you. Why am I attracted to you? Why didn't you tell me the truth, baby? Why I gotta be wrong? Now I'm writing love songs, but they're not about you. Left you a message, you left me on red, got me constantly stressing on you. There's a space in my bed and questions in my head, and it seems like I'll never get through. Why am I attracted to you? Why didn't you tell me the truth, baby? Be strong,
And I'm only doing it because
keep
I love you,
keeping
Dane.
on.
I don't want us to be beefing and
belong
shit.
to you.
I really like the time we spent together and shit, you know. And I want this shit to be tight. I want it to work out and us to have fun.